Are you a writer who owns a YouTube channel and would like your poems made into unique poetry videos that will entertain your audience? Eye Opener Productions offers various types of poetry videos like animation, spoken words, and real-life poetry videos. We also offer trailer videos to promote your debut releases. Knock our door and we'll be there to offer you professional book cover designs. Eye Opener Productions also offers book publication services of international standard. We offer website development services. Check out a few samples of our projects through the links below. www.cacgrammarschoolakure.com, www.expressyourloveforliterature.blog. We offer app creation services. Contact us at eyeopenerproductionservices@gmail.com. Eye Opener Productions, making positive changes. Hello, I warmly welcome you to the Author Lifestyle and Book Talk Show by Eye Opener Productions. With me on the show today is author Zaneta, a poetry legend from Colorado, USA. Let's give it up for this amazing poetry legend. Zaneta Varnado Jones, also known as Zaneta, is a Pushcart nominee in poetry and a four-time best-selling author of Poetic Forecast 2020, After the Rainbow 2022, What 2023, and Encore 2023. Jones is the contributing author in the Women Speakers Association's #1 International Bestsellers Voices of the 21st Century, 2021, 2022, and 2023. Her poems are featured as the dedication page in these collaborative books. Jones co-edited the Social Justice Inc. and Dear Heart anthologies with publisher and poet Lisa Tommy Zonneveld. She's an editor for the Fine Lines Literary Journal and administrator for the Passion of Poetry, a revered online platform for emerging and esteemed poets. She is a USA contributor in the Russian Guinness World Record Hyper Poem. Her poems appear in numerous anthologies and international literary publications. Believing that every word is shared is an opportunity to love, Jones' writing offers hope as she stirs the reader's consciousness about life and living. Jones is a retired human resources leader who spent a 29-year career at the University of Colorado. She was recognized in 2007 as one of the University of Colorado's Women Who Make a Difference. Jones resides in Colorado, USA, and you can find her on our website, www.zanexpressions.com. It is my delight to have you on the show, Author Zaneta. Thank you for accepting my invitation to be interviewed on the Author Lifestyle and Book Talk Show.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, and huge congratulations to you for this show. I've watched some of the episodes and I'm excited about the series and happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Madam Zan, and I must say you look dazzling.
Oh, thank you, as do you.
Thank you so much. Madam Zaneta, you are a very popular author in the online literary community, and I guess you are also very famous around the world besides the online literary scene, because I often posting pictures of yourself at many literary events and book signings. Why don't you tell us about your literary career of social media?
Oh boy, thank you. Thanks for asking. Woo, let's see. First of all, I started writing when I was 18. I won't say how long ago that was, but I was 18. And my literary career did not take off until 2020 because I did have another career. I was a human resources leader, as you mentioned, at the University of Colorado. And I wrote many poems during that time. I've been writing for a long time. One of my poems, actually the Pushcart nominated poem, which is What Matters, was written while I was still working at the University of Colorado. 29 years, and then I retired. After retirement, I thought I would publish my first poetry book, but I like to say that life got in the way. I did not begin my literary career until almost a decade later. It was a decade later, actually. I published my first book during the pandemic, like many people, many writers did. But I wrote the first poem that I wrote. I want to tell you the first poem that I wrote. It's very short. It's called Short Prayer. And it was a private conversation with me and God. And it goes like this. Now, the poem, Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. Well, I used that meter and I wrote, Now I wake to face the day. Lord, to you I humbly pray. If I should tire before I finish, allow my weakness to diminish. Please speak to me so I may write words reflecting your insight. Let's touch the world line by line as I illuminate you every time. Touching the world line by line is my tagline on my website. So back to 2020, my literary career started in 2020 when I published Poetic Forecast. That's my first book, which includes that poem. And we'll talk about the books later. But just wanted to share that that's how my literary career got started. It was after the pandemic and after I started to engage with other poets around the world, including yourself.
I'm so honored that I got to meet you because you're one of the most beautiful souls I have ever known. Madam Zaneta, you are one of the most supportive literary personnel that I know, and you are always out to support every good thing that comes out of anybody, not your age. What comes to your mind when you see young people who are upcoming authors or established authors? When I talk about young people, I mean teenagers.
Teenagers like yourself. And as you know, I am overjoyed witnessing your journey. And that's how I feel when I see young writers writing, embracing their passion. I'm encouraged. It tells me that the future is bright. The literary future is very bright with people out there like you, Elizabeth, and other writers, other teenage writers. Please continue, embrace your passion, follow your passion. I say to young readers, read as much as you can. The more you read, the more you will write, and the better your writing will get, right?
Yes.
I want us to mentor teenage writers, to guide them, to lead them, to support them. And that's what I try to do, as you mentioned. I am encouraged by everything I see. When I read the writing, I see it get better and better and better. And that's a good thing. I encourage you to participate in workshops, open mics, recitals. I'm not sure that every teenager can do everything you're doing, but I like what I see. I like what I see.
Thank you so much.
It
Thank you
fills
so
my
much,
heart.
Madam Zan.
Yeah, it fills my heart to
Well,
see.
I wouldn't have achieved so many things I've achieved without you and so many people out there in the literary community. All my mentors, Jill,
Yes.
Annette, Arthur Robert, and so many other people on the international scene who are constantly giving me their support, even friends that have just made in 2020 in December and now, and my career is, like I said, skyrocketing, and it's all thanks to you all.
You deserve the support and you make us proud.
Thank you. What is the reason why you write, and how did you develop your writing passion?
Ooh. Well, I wrote a poem actually called Why I Write. And actually, you've
I know
recited that.
that poem.
You know that poem.
Yes.
And, I could share it or we can move on. I'll tell you, I write to process feelings. I write to inspire. I want to help other people meet other people where they are. And poetry is a language that is non-threatening. You know, even when we talk about things that are hard to discuss or not necessarily feel good things, there's something about presenting the words in a poetic fashion. People can hear them. We can get our message across. Poetry has changed nations, right? And so I've embraced it. When you get the calling, you know it. I remember as a teenager seeing the famous poet Nikki Giovanni, and actually, I just want the world to see who I'm talking about.
Wow.
The infamous,
You have a book here.
phenomenal Nikki Giovanni, who is still living. She's a civil rights poet in the US, and she is amazing. I saw her when she was in her late 20s.
Wow.
And it's after her recitation that I started writing poetry.
Wow. That is
Yes.
huge.
Yes.
She was the motivation for you.
Was the motivation. And the beauty in this is that I followed her through the years, and she just recently retired a couple years ago, but she's still performing. She's still out there sharing her inspiration. And how can I stop? How could I not, like my poem says, how could I not be mesmerized? I've got to do what I've been called to do. That's why I write.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I love your story. I love that you are motivated by a phenomenal woman, because now you are a phenomenal woman yourself.
All right,
My
thank
Zaneta,
you. Yes, yes, yes.
I've often wondered how you managed to weave your writing career perfectly into your family life. Would you like to tell us that secret?
That's a great question. And actually, it's one I might turn around and ask you. There's a lot of juggling that goes on, you know. How do I do it? Because it's my passion, I have no choice but to follow it. I have to write, and my family understands that.
Yes.
I am a people person. I am a family person. I have dear, dear friends who are very close to me, and they all understand my need. They understand that I've got to write. I have to spend the time writing, reading, inspiring, participating. It's part of who I am. Now, prior to that, before the pandemic, they got all of my attention. I could give them all of me. You know, I wrote poetry, but I didn't write to the extent that I write now. Now I'm writing prolifically. I
Yes,
have to.
I know.
You know? Yes.
I know.
So I disconnected from the television. And, you know, when the world was quiet, it was the perfect time to hear that voice. And that voice came in loud and clear. And it said, write, share, inspire. And I keep hearing it, and I can't ignore it. So I appreciate my family understanding that this is what I have to do, even though they grumble every now and then. Every now and then, some of them say, ah. And it's not my, you know, my children and grandchildren. I'm a mother first, a wife, a grandmother, a sister, a friend. I'm all of that, but I'm a poet, and the poet is strong. So I've got to juggle. I do my best. How do you do it? How do you juggle?
Thank you, Zan. I would like to say a big thank you to your family for being so supportive of you and for the needed support, because you are a blessing to the literary world.
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Time for our guest author's lifestyle highlight. These photos are evidence of Otto's colorful and eventful lifestyle as a poet. I hope you enjoyed the slideshow. Madam Zaneta, your biography tells us that you are an Amazon four-time best-selling author. Would you like to showcase your books and tell us a little about them?
Oh, sure. Okay, my first book that I mentioned earlier is Poetic Forecast,
Yeah.
published in 2020. And this book was the culmination of all of the poems that I had written since I was a teenager. I selected, how many? I think 76 poems are in this book. And it includes celebrations, it includes tributes, it includes sadness, grief, life, nature, everything. This, look at the cover. Isn't this the most?
It's colorful.
Isn't it beautiful? I love this book. So it became a number.
Personally, I think that you have amazing book covers. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Covers.
Well, this one became a #1 bestseller on Amazon. I'm quite proud of it. And I'm thankful for this book because I had only planned to publish one book. I did not know I'd be doing what I'm doing right now. So this one got me started. My second poetry collection has my picture on it. Elizabeth has it.
It was your gift. It was your gift to me, and I cherish it. I love it.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you.
Thank you.
You did some trailers for me for this book.
Yes.
Well, this one, I call this one my passion book because it even says on the back that, I stepped into my, I am fully embraced my passion and shared my writing. It was written during 2020 and 2021, when we had still dealing with the pandemic, dealing with a lot of civil unrest in the United States, social justice issues. We had a lot of natural disasters, things that were tragic. And I wrote, that's when everything just came pouring out, to process my feelings. I wrote about things that I observed around me. My husband, Jim Johns, actually wrote the foreword for this book. And he wrote a poem, as you've seen. There's a poem in there from him. So he's a poet too. He's a poet in hiding, right?
The poem in the book tells us that he's a poet because they are full of mind-blowing lyrics and poetic license.
Correct. He will love hearing. And I failed to say that the gentleman who wrote the foreword for Poetic Forecast went to college with me. His name, a dear friend, journalist named James Michael Brody. He wrote a fabulous foreword, which really touched me deeply and made me, it helped me to realize that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's book #2. The next personal publication is my What Matters journal, which was published last summer. And this is based on the poem, What Matters, inspired by the poem, What Matters. This one, oh gosh, I love this. It's got mindfulness art by poets from the United Kingdom, Pratibha Savani and Preeti Mistry. Look how beautiful.
It's beautiful. I've never seen the interior of this journal before.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Oh my gosh. It's fabulous. There's another feature I'm going to show you really quickly. Okay. I've got an affinity for benches. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see the bench?
Yeah, I can. Wow, that's cool.
So at the end of every month, I have a monthly reflection segment. And the bench symbolizes being there for someone. A bench is always waiting. The bench is always there. So I ask you to reflect on who you were there, who I was a bench for Elizabeth during this past month. Yes. Elizabeth was a bench for me. So there's writing space throughout the book to reflect on how you've you've helped others and how others help you. It helps with organization, gratitude, self-care. And my last personal publication is Encore. Yay!
The entire poetry community celebrates the reappearance of a poetry legend, author Zaneta Varnado Jones, once again with priceless poems in her collection of poetry titled Encore. Zaneta Varnado Jones is an award-winning four-time best-selling author of Poetic Forecast, After the Rainbow, and the What Matters Journal. Jones is a contributing author in the Women Speakers Association's #1 International Bestsellers Voice of the 21st Century. She is a Pushcart nominee in poetry and USA contributor on the Russian Guinness World Record Hyper Poem. Her debut, titled Encore, is pure satisfaction beyond measure. Within the pages of this book sips the most unique poetic flair that fills your mind to the brim with the beauty of the author's soft inks and firm voice, leaving you thirsting for more. That is what author Zaneta Varnado Jones' pen does to its readers. No wonder she is a four-time Amazon best-selling author. Add Encore to your Amazon shopping basket right away because there's a lot of surprises to unravel.
This one, by popular demand. So many people support and encourage me. My readers asked for more. I gave them more. This one has a fabulous foreword written by Cheryl J. Jackson. You know that poet. You just interviewed her.
I do.
And
She's fabulous.
she is absolutely fabulous. I appreciate her. And on this one, I have a back cover blurb written by Sarfraz Ahmed. You also interviewed him. Fabulous. You've got great people on your show, right? And then the last, I'm not going to show each one, but I'm in the Collaborative Women Speakers Association book series, Voices of the 21st Century. With 45 women from around the globe, we share stories of inspiration, transformation, and the special thing for me, extra special for me about these books is that my poem serves as the dedication page. So I've been in 3 of these books. We have a new one coming out in February. And again, I have a poem and a chapter in that next book. Thank you so much for asking about my books.
I'm so happy that you showcased them all. Thank you,
Yeah.
Zach. I must say, you are so elegant and beautiful. Have you got any fitness practices or diet plans that helps you keep in such beautiful shape?
Oh, you just make me smile, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Well, I walk for exercise. My vice is I like to eat. I love to eat. I'm from Louisiana, which is in the southern part of the United States, and food is important to us. Food is a big part of our culture, as it is in Africa and other parts of the world. So I like to eat. I prefer seafood and vegetables, but there are a lot of other things that I absolutely love that require me to walk a lot. My other vice is, now that I've discovered my passion, and I'll alert you to this. You're young, you're very young, so it's not an issue for you now, but as you move through life and get more seasoned, you will find that sitting in one place is not good for you. Sitting in front of the computer all day, which is what I am prone to do sometimes because I'm writing and reading, interacting, it's not good for the body. So at my age, stretching is important. that's my newest focus, walking and stretching as much as I can.
I think the viewers would really love those tips you've just given. Can you please take a few minutes to give the audience a brief overview of your lifestyle? And in the moments when poetry isn't what you're working on, what are your other engagements? Do you have pets that you take care of? What else do you do?
Well, I don't have pets, but as a mother and grandmother, I do a lot of things with my grandchildren and children.
Okay.
With my husband, Jim, I absolutely love music. I like rhythm and blues, preferably, but I also love jazz. Do you like rhythm and blues?
Oh, yes, I do.
Well, rhythm and blues, jazz. I love theater, plays, and dance. We have an amazing dance company in Denver, Colorado, the Cleo Parker Robinson Dance Theater. Beautiful. Love seeing them perform. And I just enjoy anything that's live. Do you know what I'm saying? I like spectator sports as well.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your um, activities and your engagements when you are not working in poetry. I believe that the audience are enjoying every moment with our guest author as much as I am. We will go on a where I'll allow author Jeremy Genhelder from Canada to have his say. Please stay tuned.
I find Madame Zan's poetry quite engaging and fascinating. I've read several of her poems this morning, and I've been following her work on Facebook as well, and I can honestly say that she has an immense amount of talent. Her style of poetry is not one that I particularly apply to my own work, but it's very interesting the way she flows in and out of rhyming schemes, and her craft definitely does a great job of creating an image in your mind of what she is portraying. I can honestly say that my favorite poem, I think, of hers was the one about the spouse who was abused, unfortunately. It's a little heavy, but it was really well written. And having lived through experiences similar to that, indirectly, through watching my parents have a rough go at it in life, I can honestly say that I was moved by the poem, very moved. The content of it was really touching, and I found it very realistic to a point where it actually impacted me pretty heavily. But that's mostly what I had to say. I do hope she enjoys her time on Elizabeth's channel with the interview today, and I am hopeful that in the future I will be able to read more of her work. I know that she's a great inspiration to Elizabeth, and that she has helped many people, and I think that is really inspiring too. I feel very honored to be able to make this video today, and I want to say thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Jeremy. Jeremy Genhelder is a longtime fan of true crime shows and suspenseful thrillers. He has been writing as a hobby since he was 7 years old, even winning awards for his poetry during high school. While on stress leave from his job as a teacher in 2020, he decided to elevate writing time to something he might pursue professionally. The result of that effort was the Small Town Slasher series, with The Drifter being the first installment. Jeremy was raised in the small town of Cayuga, Ontario, Canada. He currently lives in another small town, Lutcheva, Quebec, with his fiancée and a coat, their 5-year-old Budgie and their 4-year-old Pug. Welcome back. It's still your host, Ogunmodede. Madam Zaneta, if you weren't North American, which continent or country would you have loved to originate from and why?
Oh, that's an awesome question. I think that I have to say Africa, because first of all, that's where my ancestors came from. You live there. I want to come. I'd love to just be there. I can only imagine. I've never visited Africa, but when I think about where I would like to have originated from, it's the first thing that comes to mind. But keep in mind, they say to surround yourself by things that speak to you. So at home, my decor includes African art. I have things from different countries, different cultures. And my brother Daryl teases me. He said, one day he looked around and he said, Zan, you need to decide whether you want to be from Africa, whether you want to be from Asia, whether you're Native American, whether you're Black, whether you're this. And my response to him was, I'm all of that. My soul is universal. There are parts of Europe like Italy. You didn't ask where I want to visit. You said, where would I want to originate from? So that's why I say Africa. But I feel a connection to so many places.
I think you are the first author of the show who chose Africa as the continent they would love to originate from.
Okay.
There's this would you rather question that will be featured on our magazine when it comes live. So every single author that has ever been hosted will have their say rather question. So I would like to ask you the question now. Oh. Would you own a charity organization or a talent scout organization that is set out to help talented individuals become the stars they are?
Wow. Well, I think I would rather own the organization for two reasons. The first would mean that I'm financially successful.
Okay.
But that's a selfish reason. The main reason is that I would be able to, I'd be in control. I'd make the decisions I'd set the tone and make decisions about how to help others. Okay. I'm not okay until you're okay. And, I'm a compassionate person. And,
Madam Zan?
Yes.
What's you? So does this mean you're going for the charity organization over the talent scout organization?
I'm going for the organization, to own the organization.
The charity?
Yes,
charity organization?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
You're the first author on the show who has chosen charity organization. Every single author who has been here, I've been going for the talent scout organization.
Yes. And, I love the idea of being a talent scout, but I also like the idea of owning a charity organization. Okay. Just imagine what can be done if I'm in charge of that charity organization.
Yes. All right. Would you like to read any poem by your favorite contemporary author?
May I read two, please?
That's no problem.
Do we have time for two? This is an author that I know you're familiar with. She's from Pakistan, Anila Bukhari.
Yes. All right. I know her.
Yes, I have many. My other poem was one of yours, which I've read before.
Thank you.
Will Not Your Heart to Break. I read that at your
Wow.
launch. You know I love that poem.
Yes.
But I'm going to read Anila's poem now.
Okay.
It's titled Shattered Dreams, right? Shattered Dreams. In a world where innocence is stolen, a tale of pain and hearts broken, girls forced into early marriage, their lives forever marked by anguish. Oh, my parents, you call me your doll, but I am a human with a voice to recall. You made a decision that tore me apart, taking away my freedom, breaking my heart. A doll of fabric or plastic, they said, unable to form connections or dreams in my head, forced to bear burdens beyond my years, stripped of my rights, drowning in my tears. I am a girl, not a mere possession, deserving of love, respect, and progression. But you married me off before my time, subjecting me to violence, a heinous crime. Sexual and emotional abuse became my plight, trapped in a cycle of darkness, devoid of light. Unwanted pregnancy, a burden to bear. I was not ready. It was more than I could bear. Where is justice? Where is my right to live a life free from this endless fight? My plea echoes through the depths of despair. For girls everywhere, let's make it fair. Let us rise together, hand in hand, to break the chains, to take a stand. Girls should be cherished, allowed to thrive, no longer victims, but heroes of their own lives. So let this be a call, a rallying cry to end the pain, to let dreams fly. No more shattered dreams, no more despair. Girls deserve love, respect, and care. That was Anila Bakari.
That is magnificent. The moment you said the title of the poem, when I had Shattered Dreams, it immediately clicked. Well, I can't remember where I read that poem, but the moment it stuck, and as you kept reading the lines, I kept remembering because it was a powerful poem that I still remember when as you read it.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
Yes, she's a great writer. I mean, Anila Bukhari, and I commend her for that amazing poem that she penned.
Yes, I do too.
Go ahead and read your second poem.
I may read the second. Okay.
Yes.
The second poem is by my dear Elizabeth Ogunmodede.
Thank you.
This is a wonderful poem, and it touches me because, as I told you before, it's the message that I have for my grandchildren. The title is Will Not Your Heart to Break. It goes beyond the bracelets, beyond secret knocks that opens doors for sleepovers. It goes beyond tables for two, at some dinner with pizzas too. The physical might just be a cover. It goes beyond shattered tastes in flowers, beyond a shared delight in shopping, or that shared secret recipe for dessert. True friendship goes beyond them all. It seeks the entire heart of those playing the game called true friendship. Know your friend so well so you may stand a chance of no heartbreak when the chameleon called friend attempts to shred your heart. Elizabeth.
Oh my God, you read it so beautifully and you gave life to the poem. Thank you so much, Madam Zan.
Thank you for penning such a powerful poem.
Madam Zaneta has just shared beautiful poems written by amazing poets. my name, Anila Bukhari, and me, and I'm so honored. So I'd like to read a special poem titled After the Rainbow, Golden Poems. So I'm going to be reading Reflection. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to be reading Reflection. It's one of my favorite poems because it expresses what I visualize about you as you see yourself too.
Okay.
All right, Reflection. I am the whole spectrum, a refined vessel of light, a colorful reflection of everything good. I am utterly pleased with who I am. My skin is a combination of my daddy's Louisiana chocolate and my mother's Mississippi red. Call me caramel frappuccino, no whip. My hips are fittingly curved like a country road, winding along my breast, though not majestic as suitable foothills. I'm good with that. My butt is not apple bottom round, but what does that matter? It is not about my body, it's about my essence. Respect what's inside my head, well read, bursting with kind thoughts, and full of dreams. Faithfully loyal, I am a rich gamble of love and poetry, a roux with a perfect hue to be served hot. I am ready to touch the world. That is superb, Madam Zan. I love, love, love that poem.
I love your recitation. That was beautiful.
Thank you so much, Madam Zan. So, Madam Zaneta, before we round up the show, would you like to share media handles for people to follow you on social media?
On social media, I'm on Facebook, author Zan Johns.
Yeah.
My website is www.zanjohns.com. I am
Okay.
also on Instagram, author Zan Johns, I think. I get confused.
All right. Would you like to say something to your fan base and the audience before the show comes to an end?
Oh my gosh. First, I want to say to you, thank you again for having me. And thank
Thank you,
you.
Mom Zan. Thank
Oh,
you.
yes. You've created a fabulous platform highlighting different poets and sharing a little bit more about us behind the scenes. This is fabulous. So
Thank you so
thanks
much,
for
Madam Zaneta.
Elizabeth. And
Thank
to
you.
my readers and everyone who supports me, I say thank you. I say I love you. Every word shared is an opportunity to love, and I plan to keep sharing and loving. Thank you so much.
We love you too. All right. So this brings us to the end of today's episode of Otto's Lifestyle and Book Talk Show. It has been a brilliant time with Otto Zaneta Varnado Joy. To the viewers, I say thank you for staying tuned to this show. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel called Express Your Love for Literature, like and comment on our videos. I am Elizabeth of Ogunmodede, a teen author, poet, graphic designer, website developer, publisher, UI UX developer, and your host on this show. Sending you warm greetings from Nigeria, Africa. Bye-bye.